Okay, so we are live. How is everybody? Good morning. I hope everybody had a lovely Fourth of July. Oh my gosh, a lovely Labor Day weekend. So today we're going to talk about ADHD paralysis, and the reason I decided on this is because so I have a kid who has, well, actually both my kids have ADHD, and one of them really struggles with keeping her room clean. And it gets to the point where it's so overwhelming and she just cannot get started. And so it made me think, okay, I know a lot of people kind of deal with this, so we're going to talk about it today. So, what is ADHD paralysis? It is, for people with ADHD, it is sort of a shutdown process that happens to us when we get overwhelmed, if there are too many things going on at the same time, if there are too many emotions involved. Or especially for me, I know that if there's any kind of vagueness with what has to happen, I just shut down, right? If you need me to do something and you can tell me exactly how you want it done, I will knock it out step by step. But if you kind of hand it to me and you give me some vague directions, I'm gonna not be on top of it. That's just how my brain works. So when we have ADHD paralysis, we tend to do a few things. We tend to procrastinate or avoid it. Sometimes we ignore it. Finances, anyone? So, let's say you maybe spent a little too much on your credit card this month. So you're avoiding looking at your credit card because you know what it's going to tell you. And then you end up having more of your ADHD tax, as we've talked about in past Tuesday topics, which is maybe you missed the payment date, or the fact that you bought way more than you should have because you were getting all kinds of dopamine hitting the buy now button, right? I think we've all maybe been there a little bit. But by avoiding it or ignoring the credit card bill sitting there, it only leads to bigger problems, right? There are, generally speaking, about 3 different types of ADHD paralysis. So the first one is mental, which is like you just have so much going on in your head and you just can't make your brain quiet down. And as a result, you just can't move, right? Sometimes you can't even talk because there's just so much going on in there. The second one is task paralysis, which is where you just can't get yourself to do the thing, right? Like, how many times have you been laying on your couch, scrolling through your phone, and to everybody else, you look like you're laying on your couch, scrolling through your phone, but in your head, you're like, I need to go do the thing. Why can't I do the thing? Just get up and do the thing. Why can't I do the thing? Right? And then the last one is choice paralysis. Choice paralysis is when maybe there's a whole lot of options for you to choose from, and you're just like, I don't know what to pick. Or if you feel that you have to pick something now, right? So I think I've had all of those. I'm sure probably all of you have had many of those as well. So how do we combat this? Because this really can be a big problem in our lives, right? So people with ADHD tend to be motivated by one of 4 things. We tend to be motivated by if we're interested in it, if it's exciting, if it is urgent, or if it's challenging. And so one of the things that I have learned is to start using those to my advantage, right? Challenging. Make a game out of it, right? If you have to clean a room that is looks like a bomb hit it, just go, okay, I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to see how much trash I can pick up in 5 minutes. And just have a contest with yourself, right? And if you schedule rewards, so for example, same room, and you say, you know what, if I can get, half of this room done by 4 o'clock today, or give yourself a deadline, then I'm going to take myself out to do something. Go get ice cream or go get a mani-pedi or something. But reward yourself, let me see here. I always have my notes because I will never remember everything. Break down tasks. Especially if you have a big project going on, break down the tasks. There are lots of great apps out there for that. I like pen and paper, but I just started using Todoist, and it has been really great to help me break down projects that I have going on so that I don't feel so overwhelmed by it. That's a really, really big one. Crossing things off the list. I love that little check. Sometimes I add things even though it wasn't on the list, but I did it. Yesterday I washed lights and whites even though it wasn't on my list, and I added it to my list just so I could check it off. I don't know why, but there's a lot of dopamine in that. We have a tendency to be perfectionists. Maybe try not to be. It doesn't have to be perfect. And perfectionism causes so much damage. It just does. There's no such thing as perfect. And sometimes we're like that because we want to prove something to ourselves, or prove things to other people. But it doesn't exist. And if you can let it go, it is going to be way easier for you to initiate some tasks. Because sometimes with perfectionism, if you think, well, if I can't do it perfect, I'm not even going to bother starting. Right? Create designated times for it. So if you know you're somebody who waits till the last minute, but you always get it in on time, right? You always get it done, but there's something about doing it at the last minute that does it for you. Keep doing that. Maybe not have so much stress about it, but there is something, again, that is the urgent part of it, right? So if you can find those things, the urgency, the interest, the challenge, etc., those are the things that are going to help you to do the things. Okay, so that is today's Tuesday topic. I hope that was somewhat helpful. I do want to remind you guys that next week I am having a free 3-day lunchtime series called ADHD in Women, Creating Success with ADHD. And we are going to be talking about signs and symptoms of ADHD and how they impact you. We're going to go through what narratives are, and I'm actually going to be doing exercises with you to help you learn how to move past certain narratives that are holding you back. We're going to talk about different hacks and skills that you can learn to help you create more success in your life. If you've ever been to my masterclass, this is going to be a much more detailed event. So you'll still learn a lot, even if you've already been to the masterclass. So I will put the link to that in the comments below. So I hope some of you can make that, or all of you, or whoever, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, September 13th through the 15th from noon to 1 Central Daylight Time. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you have any suggestions or things that have worked for you to get you past ADHD paralysis, please put it in the comments, because we're here to learn. And the more people share their comments or the things that work for them, that is going to help other people in the group. If there's something you're really struggling with and you really can't seem to figure out how to move past, put that in the comments as well. Because I have found that people in this group do really like to help each other. So that's it. I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you next Tuesday.